it's Jennifer from Flux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful Joyful Jewels button scarf. This is a scarf that you could make as a traditional scarf, or you could add some buttons like I did here and button it up. And that way you could wear it either as an infinity scarf and a cowl, and the buttons ensure that it kind of stays in place. So there's different ways you can style this piece. We've used sort of this open granny stitch. It's groups of 3 double crochets like a granny square, for example, but there's some chains in between that kind of open it up a little bit. And then to kind of mimic the jewel tones of the yarn that I used, I found these really pretty gem buttons. But the yarn that we're going to be using comes in a ton of colors, and you can really get creative with that. And it easily unbuttons using the decorative holes in the scarf. The finished scarf measures about 4.5 inches wide and has a length of about 60 inches long. However, you could really customize this. If you don't want to go twice around the neck and just once and button it closed, you could do that as well. Likewise, if you wanted to skip the buttons, you could also seam the ends together to make a more permanent infinity scarf. So let's get started. For this project, you'll need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, a 6.5 millimeter K crochet hook. You'll need 3 buttons. Now we're not going to be specifically creating buttonholes on our infinity scarf. We're going to be using the holes from our stitch work to also serve as buttonholes. So once you've made your scarf, just make sure these little buttons will pass through those decorative holes and that they're not too big, but also not too small. If they're too small, they'll just pop out and not really work very well to hold your piece together. I chose these little, these are kind of some fun rhinestone buttons. I thought to go along with the whole jewel tone theme, they would be perfect. So you'll need 3 buttons. And then the yarn that I used is Red Heart with Love. And this is a really pretty variegated yarn. It's the Parade colorway. And I used every last bit of 1 skein of this. So you'll need 1 skein of this. This is 180 yards. In case you'd like to substitute, just look for something with the same yardage, or if you want a shorter scarf, you can, if you have a little bit less than that, that's okay too. You'll just have a shorter scarf. And just when you are substituting yarn, if you choose to substitute yarn, just look for something on the label that recommends the 6.5 millimeter hook for the same results as we're going to get today. So let's get started. We're going to begin with our starting chain. So what we're going to do is put a slip knot on our hook. So I'm just going to get a little bit of yarn here. And this is variegated, so as we work the stitches, the colors will be changing, and it makes it a lot of fun to work up your piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop, bring the yarn behind that loop, reach in with your hook, bring up the loop, and then tighten. Our scarf has a starting chain of 18. So what we're going to do is wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So here's our starting chain, and as you can see, we're already able to see some of these color changes, so that's really fun. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the next row. So for the first row, the foundation row as it's written in the pattern, we're going to work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So this loop here does not count. We're going to count 1, 2 chains. So in this chain here, we're going to work a single crochet. So insert your hook into the chain, wrap yarn around hook, and bring up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through both loops. Okay? Next, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and in the next chain, we'll work a single crochet. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that all the way across. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and then in that next chain, work a single crochet. we are creating some nice loops at the bottom we're going to be working the stitches into in the next row. Okay, so just repeat. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. In that next chain, work a single crochet. Just like that. Okay, let's repeat. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next 3. 1, 2, 3, which brings us to our last chain, and we'll work a single crochet right into that last chain. Okay, so when you're done, you should have 4 of these loops. We've created kind of circles at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, let's move on to the next row. We're going to chain 3 and turn. 1, 2, and 3, and then turn our work. Now we're going to be working into these spaces. In the written pattern on the Flux blog, I refer to these as the chain 3 spaces. So right into these kind of holes that we've created, we're going to work 3 double crochets. So to make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert it right into that space, and bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Okay, so that's 1 double crochet, but we need a total of 3. So I'm going to work the second one and then the third one. Okay, so it'll look sort of like that. Okay, next we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do the next thing into this next space. The same thing we did here, we'll do into the next space as well. So 3 double crochets, then a chain 1. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and I need to get a little bit more yarn from this yarn ball here. There we go. Okay, so we did 2 double crochet, then 3 double crochet, all in that chain 3 space. Okay, then chain 1. Hop over to this next hole or chain 3 space and work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Okay, we have arrived at this last chain 3 space. We'll do the same thing. 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and chain 1. Okay, so our next row is going to kind of look like that. To finish off this row, we also need to put, see this turning chain at the end of our row? You can see the loops are kind of there. They might be a little bit smushed because it kind of folds over on itself. But just work a double crochet right into that turning chain from the previous row. Just 1 double crochet right into that turning chain. Okay, so this row is complete. You should have 4 of these groupings that we made. So let's move on to the next row. We're going to do kind of the same thing we did with these chains and single crochets in the next row as well. So what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn our work. Okay, in this first space here, see this first space that we come to, we're going to work a single crochet, just like that. Now in the next area, so what we need to do is hop over this group. So we're going to do that. So we worked a single crochet in that first space. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go over to this next space in between these 2 groupings and work a single crochet. So we're kind of like hopping over that. So work a single crochet right into that space. Then chain 3. 1, whoops, 2, 3. Hop over that next group of those 3 double crochets from the previous row and into that space and work a single crochet. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more yarn. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Hop over that next grouping and work a single crochet into that space that's in between. Just like that. Okay, chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then see this turning chain from the previous row, that double crochet? Well, it acts like a double crochet, but that turning chain from the previous row, it also created a space. So here's our grouping of 3 double crochet. There's the turning chain, and in between is a little space. We're also going to work a single crochet into that space as well to finish off the row. Okay, so that row is complete. So you can't really see it right now, but what we've done is created 4 more loops. See these loops at the bottom? We've also created 4 at the top. That's what's going to give this appearance of these kind of floating squares in our pattern. Okay, so to continue, you're just going to repeat these last 2 rows over and over until you get it as long as you want it. So let's do the next row together because I really want to show you how these kind of floating squares are created. So we're going to repeat row 1 again. So there was the foundation row was this, we worked into the chains with the single crochets to set it up. Then row 1 was these double crochet clusters. Then row 2 was these chains and single crochets, okay? So let's work row 1 again. Okay, so what we're gonna do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. So let me just get a little bit more yarn just to get us going here. Okay, and again, we're just repeating this row. I'm just gonna show you how it works into this one. Okay, so we're going to work into this space, this loop that we've created, we're going to work 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3, just like that. Now see how that kind of floats above that now? And then chain 1 to transition, and then go into this next hole that we created and work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 1, go into this next chain 3 space, this hole. So work 1, 2, and 3, then a chain 1. And this last space here, this chain 3 space, do the same thing. 3 double crochet, chain 1. So 1, some more yarn. We're going through the yarn pretty quickly. 2, and 3. Just like that. Then chain 1. And then in this turning chain from the previous row, kind of pick it up a little bit there, we're going to work a double crochet right into that turning chain. Actually, I didn't pick up both loops there. Try and get both loops on there. There we go. Okay, so double crochet right into that turning chain from the previous row. So as you can see, the colors are interacting in a really fun way, and we now have a couple rows of our pattern established. So what you're going to do is just repeat rows 1 and 2, you know, the single crochets and chains, and then these groupings of double crochets. Just repeat rows 1 and 2 over and over and over until your infinity scarf is as long as you would like it to be. Now I'm going to go ahead and work mine until I've just run out of yarn. So I'm going to go ahead and work rows 1 and 2 over and over until my scarf is as long as I'd like it to be. And then I'm going to show you how to finish it off and how to add the buttons and wrap it together. Okay, I'm just working that last double crochet of the row. And I worked mine until I got the length that I was really after. And then what you can do is grab your scissors and go ahead and cut the yarn and fasten off, just like that. And then your scarf will be complete. So then we just have to add the buttons. Now you can make this like a classic scarf with no buttons if you like, and just kind of drape it around you. I really like button scarves. They stay put and you can wear them a variety of ways, and you can transform it into a cowl if you like. So I just threaded my tapestry needle, and I'm just going to go in one direction, and this is like that magenta color. So as I weave in my ends, I want to just try and stay in that color as much as possible so it blends more. And to get it nice and locked in there, you can come back in the other direction and then just snip the yarn. And I have one at this end. If you use 2 balls of yarn, I only used 1 for this, and I had a little bit left over, so you could make yours a little bit longer than mine, or use it for something else if you like. So I'm just going to thread this one now, and I'm going to go into one direction and come back in the other direction. Okay, and then you can cut the yarn on that side as well. So the only thing left to do is add our buttons. So you'll want to decide which end. Now, I did want to mention when you finish, I didn't say this before, but when you finish your scarf, you'll want to end on the row with the double crochets, not the row with the chains and the single crochets, because that'll give you a nice finished looking edge instead of these kind of loops at the top of it. And these holes here are going to serve as our button holes. Okay, so we're going to be using those as our button holes. So I have 3 buttons here, and they kind of match, and they have the gems in them to match. But you can use whatever you like, whatever goes kind of with your particular yarn. And then what we're going to do is lay out our scarf here, and you just want to decide your button placement. So this was our starting chain edge here. I'm going to put the buttons here, just 3 of them here, and then that way we can, you can button it sort of sideways like this. You can button it around and make them go end to end. It really depends on how you want to wrap and wear your scarf. Now to style your scarf, all the ways you can wear it and wrap it, hop on over to the Flux blog, and the link will be down below for that, and you can see all the different ways to wear your scarf as well. So you'll need a piece of matching yarn and just cut, oh, I don't know, about 12 inches or so. You'll need 3 pieces of that, 1 for each button. If you're just doing 1 large button, obviously you'll just need 1 piece, and then your tapestry needle. Okay, so I sewed the buttons on. I just did 3 across, and then I had 1 more tail to do once you tied them onto your project. Buttons are really easy to sew. You just use a tapestry needle, matching piece of yarn. You can even sometimes, if the buttonholes are large enough, you can do it with your hand. Now this particular project, the buttonholes were really tiny, so I used a piece of wire, and I was going to make a video for that. If you'd like to see that trick, let me know, and I'll make a video for that as well. So our buttons are all sewn on. Now let's get the other end here. Now, like I mentioned before, you can go on the Flux blog and see how to style your scarf. You can just go around in kind of an infinity scarf loop, and you can button it using the decorative holes, just like that. And it looks very cute, and I love these buttons with, I wasn't sure, I've had these buttons and I wasn't sure what to use them for, but this yarn just matches so nicely. So that is how you crochet the Joyful Jewels button scarf. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Flux video updates. Thanks again.